Okay, class, let's talk a little bit about logistics and how on earth this class is going to run, especially now that we're online this semester. So, first thing I want you all to know is that this class is for lots of different types of engineers altogether. This class is for MSE 2010, but also 2160, 2170, and 2165. So, when you go to the course website, which is Canvas, you'll see that it says MSE 2010 Section 1. But what I've done is I've taken MSc 2160 and 2170, these other courses, and I've just merged them with this. So if yours says 2010, but you're like, I'm a mechanical engineer and I'm supposed to be taking 2160, don't worry, you're in the right place. This class is for material science students, MSc 2010, as well as the other ones. It's also elements. The only difference between these courses is that if you're a material science and engineering student up here, you also take a lab. Whereas if you are a mechanical engineering student, you do not have to take the lab. Now, what that means is because there's a difference in what you have to do, there's also a slight difference in the way I grade the courses. You all have the same homeworks and stuff, but you'll see that for 2160, there's no lab included in your total grade. Therefore, your homework, midterms, final project are each worth 30%, and then 10% is your reading quizzes. Whereas if you're a 2010 student, it's slightly different. You have your homework is worth 15%, midterms worth 30, final project 25, lab is worth 20% of your grade, and reading quizzes are worth 10%. Okay? That's the big difference there. So you can take a look at the syllabus. You can find it on the course website on Canvas. If you go to the file section here, you'll see all the different syllabuses for the different sections of the classes in the syllabi folder, so you can read through it. I'm just going to go over some of the key points here. The first point I want to talk about is the book that we're using. We're using Callister's Fundamentals of Material Science and Engineering, an Integrated Approach. The official version for the class is this 3rd edition, which you can find on Amazon or elsewhere. My suggestion is that you buy it as cheap as possible or even rent it. I don't think a lot of people will hang on to this book for reference. I mean, you might. It has a decent appendix of materials properties at the back, but nowadays with the internet, I think it's just as easy to find stuff online. So find it as cheap as you want. The reason I'm not using the most current version, it's like the 9th edition, is because it costs several $100s, and I want to save you some money. I think you can get it for 20 or 30 bucks and be just as well off. If you get the 2nd or the 4th or some other edition, they're basically the same. They're very, very similar, but the problems will be different. Therefore, if you do buy a different edition, realize that I'm going to post the homework problems from the 3rd edition. What I can do is I can probably scan the homework problems from the 3rd edition and put those on Canvas. All right. So we've already talked about the Canvas is the website for the class. Pay attention to it. Make sure your notifications are turned on. I make frequent announcements there. I'll be telling you where you can find different things, what to do for the reading. If I find extra additional info that supplements what we talked about in class, I'll put it on there. I think you'll find it interesting. Okay. One thing to realize is that on Canvas, if you go to Canvas, you can actually click on grades and you can see your performance in the class, but realize that this is not the grade that you're going to be getting from me at the end of the semester, because the grade at the end of the semester has these different weighting schemes, and those are not programmed into Canvas because some of you have this scheme, whereas others of you have this scheme, right? And I can't differentiate it by section, so you'll need to calculate those yourselves. Or if you're ever in doubt and you want to know, just email me and I'll calculate it for you and tell you where you're at. But if it says here that you're getting an A when you go to your grades, like, realize that may not be the case because it's not weighted the same way. Or if it says you're getting a D, you might be doing better, right? So you can always come talk to me and I will calculate your grade for you in real time. I do some things to make grading a little bit better for you. I don't believe in dropping midterms. They're too important to just drop it. But what I do is I weight them. I make it so that your worst midterm is only worth 25% of its points, and your best midterm is worth 175% of its points. So this isn't the same as dropping a midterm, but if you have just a really bad day and then you pick it up on your other midterm and do a lot better, it has very similar effect as dropping one. It'll really pull your grade up. It can't hurt you at all. It only helps you, and if you show big improvement, it'll help you a lot. So I believe in doing that. Okay? All right, so the reading quizzes, those will be on Canvas, since we don't have class, they're not going to be taking up class time because we don't have class time. They'll just be on Canvas, and I'll put a period of time where you can do those. They should be very simple, something that you can do really easily if you've done the reading. They're not intended to be challenging. I just want you to actually do the reading, because that is one of definitely the most important things to do well in this class, is to stay on top of the reading, especially if you can do it before watching the videos. If you do the reading before watching the videos, then when I go over it in the videos, it will make much more sense. So there's loads of research that has shown this to be the case, that seeing things multiple times is much more effective. So read it, even if you're skimming it, like read it quickly, just so the ideas are there, and that way when you see them in the videos, they'll click, because you've already given a little bit of time devoted to them to think about them. Alright, what else can I say? We have some great TAs. Because this is a big class and it's online, we have lots and lots of TAs for you. What we're going to do this semester is we're going to use Discord for the TA session. Some of you might have used Discord before. I think it's a great service. It's mostly voice chat. It also has text chat features. I'll show you what it looks like in a minute. Let me be pulling that up. But it can do some other things really well. You can share your screen on there so they can actually work problems and show them for you if you'd like. Here's when you can find the times available. The TAs, we tried to spread them through the week, both mornings and evenings. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We have times all the time. I'm going to hold an evening one, Emma as well, on Tuesday evenings. Homeworks will probably do Wednesday evening. I haven't decided that. I'll have that posted on the first homework though when it's due. That way you have time. And always, if you're feeling stuck, you can always reach out to the TAs. Here's all of our emails. You can feel free to email us. Even better, you can put it in the Discord chat. So if you come over to our Discord and we come to our channel, you'll notice that there's a student channel, and it has just a general chat. It has announcements. So the announcements, I put the TA schedule here. But the general chat, you could always post something here like, hey, when is this due? Or how are we supposed to go about this problem? Or if you want specific, these are audio channels. So you can come to the textbook problem. You can join this. Now you're via audio joined in. Anybody in the same channel can now talk with you. So the TAs can talk and explain things. If you have questions, you can actually ask them. You don't have to type them out. Or if you want to type them out, then you can as well in this general chat. So the TAs will move from the different questions to see what questions people have, right? As I do the homeworks, you'll notice that I do a few questions from the book. Those are really easy. And then I have harder ones, which are previous test questions. There will be 4 on each homework. So we have a channel dedicated to each one of those 4 questions every week. So if you're stuck on question 2, come join this channel and you can ask people like, hey, does anybody know how to get started on this? Or, hey, are you getting the same final answer as I am? Checking answers with teammates or with TAs is totally fine. We're totally okay with that. So we'll be using Discord. If you haven't used it before, feel free to reach out and I'm happy to explain it, or we'll actually get you logged in. It's totally free to use, which is why I like it. And then it has something really cool. I can actually share my screen, right? I can click this screen button. You see here that now I can go live. You can click on this and you can observe me, right? It'll be as if I'm streaming, because this is meant for video games, but you can observe me, not do video games, but instead do math and help you with your homework if you want. So the TAs will be doing this. They should all have touchpads, so they can actually write answers. It should be as good as we can do in the era of online education, I think. So that's what that is. We'll be using Discord. So again, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. Okay. We will have several midterms over the course of the semester. I'll have those noted on Canvas when you go to the assignments. I'll have the dates marked for the midterms so you can plan ahead for them. Because those will have a window of time when they have to be completed. Even though we don't have a class for online, it's not like you're going to have several weeks to work on those. I'm going to have probably a 2 or maybe a 3-hour window when you can work on those, and then it has to be submitted via PDF onto Canvas. So your homeworks, everything will be turned in on Canvas. I will have this assignments page, and in the assignments page we'll have different groups for midterms, for exams, for different things. And you will upload them directly to Canvas, and you'll get feedback and scores directly through Canvas. So there will be no paper copies that we're going to be turning in. Everything will be handwritten and then scanned, or even better, type it up. Learn how to type this stuff up in math. I think I'll make that a requirement for one of the 10 homeworks this semester, just so you learn that it's not that bad. Okay, so I do have a couple concerns that always come up when I teach this class. The first one is, some of the material that we cover is not in the textbook. Specifically, there's one chapter on thermodynamics, and for that, we're going to rely on readings and course notes that I provide. So the question is, should you be worried as a student? And no, you should definitely not be worried. Right? No. It's going to be okay. We're going to teach a few things outside the book. The vast majority is in the book, right? Another thing is, some of you are concerned that you haven't seen free energy before because you haven't taken the second semester of Gen Chem. whereas others have. Should you be worried? No, you shouldn't be worried at all. We're going to reteach all the exact same concepts in this class and provide lots and lots of worked examples, so you do not need to be worried. So, ditto. All right? And then the last concern is sometimes people get concerned that we go out of order in the book. You don't need to worry about that. We choose to go out of order on purpose. For example, I start with bonding. We're going to talk about bonding and the structure of atoms, but then we're going to go straight to free energy. Why do we do that? The reason we go to that is because free energy is at the very end of the book. It's like chapter 16 when they talk about electrochemistry and a little bit of related to free energy. But in my opinion, free energy explains everything throughout the whole book. As we talk about mechanical properties and structures and deformation and heat transfer, all of these things can be explained by free energy, by explaining energy. And if we haven't learned about that yet, it seems silly to cover those things. So you don't need to worry about that either. It's going to be okay. Okay. Now you'll notice that these notes I provide here, these are essentially my summaries of the book chapters. I read through the book chapters and I said, I think that these are the important things I want to talk about. But realize that these are not a substitute to reading the book. You should also read the book. These two things will supplement one another, and that's why I'm doing the reading quiz, and that will help you to make sure that you're staying on track. I will be posting these after I go through. I'll scribble down equations and examples on these. I will post those to Canvas. So if you come over back to Canvas in the Files section, right now there's a folder for the syllabi. Soon I will create a folder for the course notes. And once I've scribbled on them at the end of each lecture, I'll post them up here. And if that's useful for you, then you can access them. But you don't need to. Okay? And obviously all my videos are available on a YouTube playlist. So all these course videos, they're going to be on YouTube and you can watch them again if something didn't make sense. Or if it's going too slow, you can watch them at 1.5 or 2x speed. Doesn't matter to me. They'll all be available. So this is from 2018. Let me pull up the link for this year's and I'll update that in the notes. So for 2020, here's the videos that I've done so far. This is chapter 2 stuff. We haven't quite gotten to chapter 16. And I've tried to make them smaller so you don't have to look through this giant 2-hour video for that 5-minute section on bonding. You can go right to it. How does EDS work? A short little 8-minute snippet on that. So that's how the course will be arranged. All the content, I'll just place it right here in order. And if you have any questions, you can actually comment on the video and I respond to it. I try and respond really quickly to this stuff, but that's how we're going to do it for this class. Okay? So the labs, if you are a material science student and you're taking this as MSc 2010 or 2165, then you do have a lab. If you're a mechanical engineer or civil or other engineer, you do not have the lab. So if you see me make announcements on the course website over here in Canvas, right, if announcements show up and it has something to do with labs, don't worry about it. That's not for you. It's for the other students. You can ignore those. Okay? So the labs are great. Typically, in the past, we used to have 10 labs over the 15 weeks. We're only going to do 5 this year because COVID, we need to be spaced out a little bit more. So labs will be basically every other week, and we won't have them on weeks of midterms and things like that. There is no fall break this year. So you're going to have 5 labs, which is easier than before, but it means I have a little bit higher expectations. So we'll talk more about labs in a separate video just for lab students. One thing I'm really excited about, though, is that it will give you good technical writing practice. You're going to learn how to actually write in LaTeX. If you haven't done that before, you're going to write one of your lab reports in LaTeX, which is, I wish somebody would have taught me when I was a sophomore. Honestly, that's really powerful stuff. Okay? Okay, let's talk about homework. Homework in this class is really challenging. It's meant to be challenging. It's meant to reflect real-life scenarios. I hate to say it, but as engineers, you will not be faced with easy book problems where it's just plug and chug it into an equation. They tell you exactly what to do. If that were the case, they wouldn't be hiring engineers. They're hiring engineers because they want you to be people that can think through hard problems, figure it out, and come to solutions that are meaningful. And you'll get practice on that, on the homework. So for every hour of class, the rule of thumb in college is you need to plan on 2 to 3 hours of study and homework. So if you're taking this as a mechanical engineer, 3 hours of class per week means that you'll have 9 hours of study and homework, and for sure we're going to hit that. Okay, we'll have homeworks almost every week. I think there's 10 over the course of the 15 semesters, so 2/3 of the weeks we'll have it. Like I said, we'll have a few book problems which are easy to test to make sure that you understand the principle, and then we're going to follow those with questions from old tests. There'll always be only 4, but they will take time, so do not wait until the night before or you will not finish. Just plain and simple. Get started early and ask for help. If you're stuck, and it's very common to get stuck on these because they are challenging, I want you to try it first, but then use the Discord channel. Come over here and ping your fellow classmates and be like, hey, I don't know how to start this question. Can anybody give me a hand? and the TAs monitor that, and I do too, and we will try and get back to you really quickly. Okay? So I encourage you to work in groups, that's fine, but everyone must turn in their own work. If you just copy and paste each other's work exactly, that is academic misconduct because you're not presenting your own work. Okay? No late work will be accepted. It will almost always be due 1 week from the point that it's assigned, so you have a full week to get lots and lots of help. And again, those will be available on the Canvas course calendar. It'll say exactly when they're due. So we will try and get the homeworks back to you as quickly as possible. This is a big class, so it's hard to grade all those homeworks. We will grade some questions for completeness only, whereas others will be for accuracy. So you're going to want to make sure that you actually look at the solutions that I post every week to make sure you did the problem correctly, because you might have gotten a perfect score, but that's because for that problem that you got wrong, they only graded it for completion. Does that make sense? So we might have said, well, they tried, and that's all we graded for on that problem, whereas other problems we grade for accuracy, and we won't tell you ahead of time, obviously, which ones are which. We're very happy to regrade homeworks if you think that we got something wrong, or we tallied things up incorrectly, or penalized you too many points on something. Send us an email. We're happy to take a look at it, but that needs to be done within 1 week of the homework, right, being given back. We can't wait to the end of the semester and then be regrading loads and loads of homework. There's too many students in this class for that, so you have a week. And if you don't know, just email me and I'll tell you which TA was doing the grading each week. That's fine. Okay, so there's more details in the syllabus for how I provide grades. Cheating will not be tolerated. There are no early or late exams. So in the case of serious, cases, university excuse things like illness or death in the family, things like that. What we'll do is we can take your midterm and we can replace it with your final exam score. So it's sort of double jeopardy because if you botch the final exam, you botch 2 exams. But it's the only fair thing I can think of. So that is this class. We have lots of opportunity to do some cool things in here. I think that Discord and the way that we're going to make it online with these mini videos is going to be helpful. So I'm looking forward to this semester working with all y'all.